Do you enjoy our YouTube content? Do you wish there was more? Well, now there is. Patreon.com/PowerCast Network. There you will find, just starting at $5 a month, more access to podcasts, to shows, to other saves. Check it out today, everybody. That's patreon.com/PowerCast Network. Are you looking to advertise your small business? Well, look no further. The PowerCast Network gets over 4,000 hits per day, and we can meet your advertising needs. Our packages start out at just $1 per day, and you will get access to our 4,000 viewer strong market per day. Call today, 815-290-9087, or send an email to info@braddrake.net. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 1987 Supermod. This is the special Christmas series, and tonight we are starting off and taking a look at the World Wrestling Federation. That's right, everybody. This is the one that the word on the street is that it's next to impossible to play. There is just way too much going on. So here we are. We're going to try our hand at it. Now, for this episode, we're not actually going to play anything. I'm just going to show you how I've set things up. Now, I still have not tried to play this mod. What I did do was spend a few days here going through, making sure that the roster and events and everything were properly accurate in order to play the mod as close as possible to being 100% accurate. So, the WWF is a handful, and this is a really interesting save to try to play, and I'm actually really looking forward to it here. So the first thing I want you to take a look at here is events, okay? We had the Spectrum Wrestling, Saturday night's main event. We had all these as regular television shows, okay? They weren't. They were actually once a month television specials on their network, including Saturday night's main event. Now, the reason that I never had them in there before as events is that with their TV deals, it means that every single house event, every single tour date would have been also on that television channel, okay? This way, if you make the deal just an event deal, and you put the show in there as an event, you can then select the broadcaster for that event. Now, AI-wise, this is difficult to do, and that's why Saturday night's main event and all the rest of these are regular weekly shows. But for the purposes of this save, to do things historically accurate, this is the way it's set up. So if you want to try to play that way for the WWF, go ahead and set your save up the same way. Okay, so for example, we will show you here, I was able to plug in these events, and here you have WWF from Boston Garden. That's the Northeast Sports Network show that the WWF had that was on once a month from the Boston Garden. Obviously, that's all set up for every Saturday in the first week of the month. Spectrum Wrestling is set up for every Saturday, second week of the month. Madison Square Garden is set up every Monday, third week of the month, okay? So this is how things are set up. It's historically accurate. I have also plugged in the proper dates for the Saturday night's main event. Now, these are not when they were actually recorded. We can't do that in this game. Saturday night's main events were always pre-recorded, okay? We can't do that in this game. So what they are on is they're actually going to be on their regular airing date, okay? So already you can see that we have a conflict here with Boston Garden Wrestling and Saturday night's main event. Now let's take a look and see the next Saturday night's main event if it's the same case. See, now it's not. Now it's the second week of March. So does that interfere with another one here? Yes, it's going to interfere with Spectrum Wrestling. So you're just going to have to go, we're going to have to go through and take it by a case-by-case basis and make the adjustments. It's not going to be truly historically accurate. You're absolutely right. It's not going to be, but it's going to be about as close as we can possibly get to it. So everything is loaded in here properly. Now I want to show you something. Right away here, we have our first live event is tonight. Live event number 87, plus we have a month's worth of superstars of wrestling to record. Okay, we're not going to do both. It's not going to happen. So what we're going to do here is, let's go down to live event number 87. Live event 87 was held in the Peoria Civic Center. So when we do our Superstars of Wrestling taping here, everybody, we are going to choose to do it at the Peoria Civic Center. That's how we're going to somewhat keep this realistic, okay? I hope that makes sense, and I hope that that clears that up. We are not going to overload ourselves and go crazy. Now, as far as television shows go, let me show you how I've set up the spreadsheet. This took me a long time to do and a lot of research, but it is historically accurate. I was able to get a count and the times of the segments for each show. Okay, here's where we're going to run into some issues. Superstars is labeled as an A show, but it's actually just promos and squash matches. Okay, they're all like 2-minute squash matches on the show. Okay, but it's an hour show, so this is how it's properly laid out with the proper amount of promos and everything else. Okay, we'll adjust that right now across the board. Oh, screwed that up already. So there we go. Now that's adjusted across the board. So the first 4 weeks, the month-long taping. So pretty much the first week of every month in this save is going to be dedicated to television tapings. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday. So Primetime Wrestling and Challenge are set up to be recorded on the same day, Tuesdays, okay? Primetime Wrestling is an A show. There's actually no promo segments in Primetime Wrestling. The reason being, if you remember, that was Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan were pretty much all the promo segments. Now, they did air promos, but they always did, like, while the match was going on, they would do the talking head in the corner. Obviously, we can't do that in the game, right? So, Primetime Wrestling and Challenge were recorded on the same day, and we all know that Challenge, American, All-American, and Spotlight were really a collection, for the most part, of house show footage and stuff like that, right? Superstars and Primetime were kind of the only ones that were made for Superstars and Primetime. Everything else was a hodgepodge. But everything is set up as the way it would air. So Challenge and Primetime don't have any promos, right? But All-American and Spotlight do. Now, just to cover ourselves, to do things properly here, I'm probably going to change Superstars here over to a B show so that it's historically accurate. I'm sorry, let me correct that. So that we don't get punished for it being a B show. We're going to gain plenty enough popularity in our Saturday night's main events and all the rest of that stuff. We're really not reliant on these TV shows too much. So, but this is the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet is properly laid out for this, and it's ready to go. Now, I want to show you, I've broken down. Remember, if you want the spreadsheets, you can just contact me on braddrake.net or join our Patreon page, and they'll be up there on the Patreon page. You can join the Patreon page for just $5 a month. It's really worth it. Everybody that's on there seems to really enjoy it. So, we have the Boston Garden Wrestling Show, right? Here it is, perfectly laid out for the segments. The timing's perfectly laid out. If you follow this like we're going to follow it, you're good to go. Now, that's the same for Madison Square Garden. That's the same for Prism. That's the same. It's not the same for Saturday night's main event. Saturday night's main event, the promos are worked in there. Those other ones were pretty much just all matches. All right, now, because we have TV shows now Well, we have TV shows that are not TV shows that are set up as events. I've actually laid out here the commentators for those events. The Frank Tunney Sr. one doesn't really have to be on here. It was a one and done tournament. I'm probably going to continue it in the game if we ever get that far. But at this pace, with how much stuff there is, that's probably going to be about 3 years till we get to the next year. But all the proper commentators, announcers, and commentators are plugged in here. So when you do the Madison Square Garden show, you know that Gorilla Monsoon and Lord Alfred Hayes are your hosts, so you can set it that way in the event when you're getting ready to play it, okay? What else do we got here? Yeah, it's all in here. All the information is in here. The roster, everybody. The roster is accurate, 100% accurate, okay? Even got your managers listed here. Now, one-man gang, we're going to mark him up right now. I didn't do this before, but it's cool to get to do it with you folks. One-man gang's not available. He hasn't made his debut yet. Either is Ted DiBiase. He has not made his debut yet. Danny Spivey is legitimately injured, and Virgil has not made his debut yet. Okay? So we are completely accurate here. I have researched time and time again the proper champions, the proper roster. Everything is in here. So I don't want to say that this is plug and play, but if you follow what's on, if you go ahead and get this spreadsheet and you follow it, now we're going to change this. I'm going to change this so each day is a separate television taping. But this is accurate, the way the spreadsheet is. Now, let's move along and take a look at titles here. So the Frank Sr., sorry, we need to reset this. The titles with the proper holders are in there. I've updated the logos to properly represent what they were in 1987 and 1988. And it's all in there. The women's tag team title was actually inactive at this point, but they were still on the books as being champion. So it's technically on hiatus, but we made it active again just so it's in there and realistically, because they did just reappear in 1988 as the champions again. Obviously, Hulk Hogan is the World Heavyweight Champion. The Hart Foundation is the World Tag Team Champions. So they are in there. Now, something I'm extremely proud of here that I want to show you that I spent a great deal of time putting in here are the storylines. So all of the feuds for May of 1987 are in here. Okay? All the feuds are in here. Duggan versus Sheik. Hart Foundation of the Bulldogs was still going on. Hercules and Haynes was still going on. Honky and Roberts was still going on, even though it was after WrestleMania 3. The Islanders versus Demolition. That was a new feud that started. Johnny V and Brutus Beefcake was a new feud that started after WrestleMania 3. Remember, Beefcake ended up cutting Adrian Adonis' hair, and then he ended up cutting Johnny V's hair too on television. Corporal Kirchner and Nikolai Volkov are in a feud. The new Dream Team are working the circuit against the Rougeau brothers. Steamboat and Savage still have their feud going on. So this is it, everybody. It is in there. I have spent so much time on this, prepping everything and making sure that everything is good to go. So, as far as the factory set goes, the factory settings, that's it. The factory settings are good to go here, everybody. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to tweak this for our save, just as I talked about, to make sure that everything, is doable as possible. And we're going to make that happen. So I am excited to start this save. And of course, we are going to kick it off on tomorrow's episode with part 1 of the recordings of Superstars. Okay? So then we're going to break up Superstars into 2 parts. Then we'll be back to the AWA. Then we'll be back to the World Wrestling Federation. So here it is, everybody. Everybody says it's difficult and it can't be done. I'm going to make it happen. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And we're going to have some fun doing it. It's going to be a good time. So there we go, everybody. There is the WWF. We'll just scroll through the roster here. And you can see it. Everybody's here. Big John Studd, I believe, is also on hiatus. Let's check medical here. Yeah, Big John Studd's going to be out for a long time, so we're going to update our sheet while we're here. We're going to do it. This way you know who's active and who's not. And let's take a look here and head back. Ivan Putski is out, so we'll have to adjust Ivan Putski. But I'm glad I did this. Where is Ivan Putski? Apparently, I didn't have Ivan Putski on there. See, I am not infallible here. All right. Let's take a look and see who else is out. Paul Orndorff's got a bicep tear. Superstar Billy Graham's missing off here also. So we'll go ahead and make the adjustment there to Graham. Graham did make a comeback. It didn't last long when he came back. So Paul Orndorff, we need to adjust Paul Orndorff and One Man Gang. Put them on there. I think the gang already is on there. Yes. And Paul Orndorff is also on there. Oh, see, I had Superstar Billy Graham under managers. We'll take him off managers because technically he's not a manager yet. See if there's anybody else that I'm missing. There's not. So actually the soonest anybody is coming back here is going to be Danny Spivey in 3 weeks. So we'll make do. Now again, that was research to look all that up and to figure it out. And I did it. So, all right, that's going to do it, everybody, for this episode. I hope you're as excited as I am to try the WWF. This is going to be a learning experience, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to give it a shot. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave us a message below. Let us know how you found the channel. If you'd like version 9 of the Supermod, go to braddrake.net, drop me a line. I'll be more than happy to send you over a link to the database and the picture pack. For those of you that are looking for us on social media, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/1987Supermod. You can also find us over on Reddit under the subreddit of TEW 2020 Friends. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.